Are you tired of mediocre haircuts and lackluster service? Look no further. Get ready to redefine your grooming game with the ultimate experience at NoGrease Barbershop, conveniently located at Northlake Mall and Charlotte Premium Outlets. It's not just about a haircut, it's about the experience. NoGrease Premium in Northlake sets a new standard for luxury with a full-service bar selection. Elevate your grooming experience even further with their signature drinks served during your service or while you wait. Whether you're looking for a classic fade, a timeless gentleman cut, or a bold modern style, NoGrease Premium in Northlake got you covered with their design and color specialists. Let's not forget about the importance of routine self-care for men. Their partnership with Alpha Male Nail Care, exclusively at NoGrease Premium, offers manicures and pedicures as a part of your routine grooming. Visit NoGrease Barbershop at Charlotte Premium Outlets or Northlake Mall today, and make sure you tell them that the Black Dads Club sent you. What girl?
The one that you was like, yo, do you date 40-year-old women?
Yeah, I gotta get her. I gotta let her post it, but hold on. Yeah, hold on. But now I gotta. I sent one of my homegirls a picture. She's cool, man. She a little chunky thing, but I like her. It's the girl. This is a girl who I got us to who wear our shirt in Vegas. She'll work her tonight.
Yeah, I like that.
So I told her, I was like, yo, I'm gonna need you to put that on your feed.
I like that.
She Mexican. She cool too. I told you she hit me up.
Can't marry that, but I do like it.
She's mad cool. I met her. I took her pictures before, and then so she hit me up and was like, yo, I think I seen you on TikTok.
You say she's a stripper?
No, she's a sex worker.
Oh, she's a full blown, not diet sex work at all.
No. I don't even
soul food sex
so
work.
good that she don't even do OnlyFans. She was like, that makes no sense.
That's insane.
But she's cool. If you meet her, she was like, yeah. So I sent her our should we tip sex workers clip. She thought it was funny. She said, I like to be tipped, but if I give you a price, that's what I expect you to pay. I sent her the stripper thing. She said, yeah, that's the dumbest shit ever. Nobody should be tipping strippers. Which I'm like, shouldn't sex workers look out for sex workers? But whatever.
No, she's right. I'm glad she has common sense. I see why she's a great sex worker. Like that's why men hire her.
Absolutely. And then I told her one time, I was like, yo, I was about to call you because we needed some input on the pod. And she was like, nah, I don't do too much talking. And if you ever meet her, she's quiet, but she's funny as shit. And then I'm trying to get this other one who wants me to take pictures of jewelry. I've never met her, but she's online. That's the thing. I've always said this. This is probably where the pod starts, since I don't think we can start with sex.
I don't think. I mean,
we didn't curse. Look at us.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, we also don't want to be the horny pod.
I like horny pod. I ain't gonna say, but somebody after you left, somebody mentioned it was like, yo, do you jerk off when your wife is at home? And it was like the most random thing. And then,
who asked that? I don't know.
Tell you. But I will tell you that one of the guys, and you know how many married people was there, was like, yeah, I do when she there. I gotta show her everything. I gotta show her how to do this shit.
I mean, look, if it's mutual, I get it.
No, he said he let her walk in on him so he could. I gotta show her how to do it. I said, wait, you just let her walk in the room and you just there? He's like, yeah.
Hey man, married people are freaks. That's why you get married, man. You trying to hone that thing in.
Absolutely. But yeah, man, shout out to I don't even know what this.
It's a great group, man. I like hanging out with everybody.
Shout out to Bianca. That's her street name. So
street name.
Yeah. I know her real name because I had to send her something. I had to send her the shirt. So I was like, yo, I kind of need your information. But shout out to Bianca, man. I'm ready, man. I'm ready. Thank you for coming to my kid's birthday party, man.
Hey, man, I had a good time, man.
Before we even get started, so I'm Gavin. This Mike. We'll do an introduction later. All right, we'll do a proper one later. Mike came over to the crib, and I try to, some of the fun parts about knowing somebody is you try to set them up. You try to jam them up. So I knew Klea. Out of all the girls, Klea has the how do we do this? Klea can get it popping. And she don't get angry. She don't need to be angry to get it popping. Mm-hmm. My wife, you got to upset her and then she going to go. She going to fire. My wife will give you like 3 strikes, but she going to be angrily striking back at you, right? Klea can she just like to talk trash and she be ready. So I knew it. I was like, oh, this going to be great. We got Klea there. We got Ann there who's going to be guarding the kids. We got to make sure somebody's always watching the kids, right? We got Ben there who's going to be looking and making sure his wife don't say nothing crazy, but he going to be watching you just to know if he need to gauge on whose side he need to jump on to de-escalate. We got Ryan who loves to instigate anything. Ryan would throw a rock and run. We got Jamar there who's just there to laugh, but got a lot of opinions but don't say nothing. I'm going to cuss Jamar out later. And then you got me. the person who has brung everybody together. Shout out to Klea because I knew what time it was. I said, Klea's going to get him. She's going to stump him, and Mike is going to have a time to say what we're going to do. So for those who do not know, the conversation was the election. Now, one thing I would give foreigners, because Klea is a foreigner, they love Obama.
Yeah, everybody loves Obama.
Everybody do, but
The Michael Jordan of politics.
But yes, but they love him even more than we do. Like, the conversation was in me, you, Jamar, and Ryan, the 4 black men there, was like, yeah. You said the comment, yeah, I love how they telling us that we have 2 black presidents and neither one of them are African American. And all 4 of us go, and Ryan was like, yeah, absolutely. He did his fast, yeah. I love when Ryan do that. And then Jamar did his thing where he look away because Jamar already know what time it is. And I was like, oh, he said it. But Klea gave you some pushback, but Mike kept slipping that shit like Floyd Mayweather, which got me upset. I was upset. I did not get what I came to see.
I'm gonna always slip it. Didn't you say we don't argue with married women?
That is true.
Didn't you just say that?
So, and Klea didn't like that. She pushed back on me. She tried to change my words. We starting with Klea today, which is amazing. So Klea, for those who don't know, she's Greek, or Armenian.
I think she said she's from Greek because we were talking about democracy.
Okay, cool. Yeah. She's Greek. I'm just over here making up stuff. But Klea,
I didn't want to push back too hard on that. Like, Greek did not start democracy. Democracy comes from egalitarian governments, and that starts with the Hammurabi codes, which is going to be from the descendants of Ham. Anyway, but
I was a computer science major in school, and I went to CMS.
I didn't want to have that. I didn't want to get into it at a birthday party with folks,
3-year-old birthday party is a wild place to set it off. But when we was there, Klea was like, yo, why y'all don't argue with women? And I said, nope. You have to be careful. Women will jam you up. They will take out one little word and get you.
Oh, they slick, bro. Women are cunning, man. Women are very, 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 very intelligent.
She tried to get me. Yeah, she went to a private university. Me and you went to public university. That's always my thing with them. When I don't want to argue no more, I say, yo, I went to a public university. And so I let them know. But shout out to everybody that came to the birthday party. It was a great time. I think by the time Mike left, I might have stood up like 30, 45 minutes, and I took my ass right upstairs to bed. That bourbon will catch you.
Hey, you went to bed and just left everybody downstairs?
Absolutely.
You that kind of host.
Oh, yeah. Yo, lock my bottom lock.
So you let your wife
handle everybody?
Get everybody out.
Absolutely.
Good job, man.
And when she can't do it, then, shit go left. I'm supposed to be fine. What you been doing all weekend? What you been up to?
Man, I ain't doing. I went to the kids' birthday party.
How was the first week of school?
Well, kiddo's with his mom this week, but I checked in with him. He's having a good time, man. So like last week, I was kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Melancholy. Like, yeah. And then first day of school, I was probably in this pensive mood. Cause I'm like, man, it's like the close of a chapter. So, cause he's in 5th grade. He goes to middle school next year. Like he's a big kid now. He don't want everybody to show up, for the first day of school. So it's just one of those things where it's like, this is, your young kid is gone now, right? Now you run into like a teenager, and it's kind of reflective of, not to go right into like the deep end of like everything that you offer, right? Like the privilege and the benefits that the kids have, like having aunts and uncles that can pretty much buy you anything you want, but then also looking at them and saying like, man, damn, like I did not give you a nuclear home, right? So and I'm like, yo, he's maturing, and he seems to be maturing fine, but it was one of those things where I remember taking him to the school for the first day of school, right? So like, cause that period of my life is like closely tied to like my separation and my divorce, right? So when I'm getting him into school, so now to see him like 5th grade, years later, it's like all that like kind of came together, like from where we started to like where we are, and it's like, yo, you got your wins, you got your losses, but it's like a stage in life where you see like, man, I this is not a little kid anymore, right? Like he's about to grow up and have his own opinions, and like now these next 3 or 4 years are so much more important to try to get him to adulthood. So him going to school this year, like typically, like I'm just like ready for him to go back to school. But like this year, man, I was really, really reflective, man. Like I was like in a really, really, I don't know, maybe I was like low key, like
Mike was sad.
Yeah. I was kind of sad, man.
Hey man, black men cry.
That's like the perfect segue. It's not even up yet.
It ain't even up. You know what? I wasn't even gonna say this. Hayden dubbed me at school.
He dubbed you?
He dubbed me.
That is perfect. That is perfect. That is when you know that they are maturing. When they see you and they be like, no.
I don't see you. And you know what? I told my wife about it. She had to tell me, she said, you know, this third time you told me this. And he been in school for 24 hours.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna sit him down. We're gonna have a conversation about this. I told my pops. I told my sister. And it was crazy because like, dang, I don't want to make it seem like, I got to have a conversation with him to let him know like, I get it, but also people are standing in your corner and don't act like you don't know them.
Yeah.
And so like, and I don't want to serious out the pie because this is a real conversation that you have to have with people because I guess I was never like that. My dad never came up to the school because he worked all the time.
Yeah.
My mom always came up and I was always happy to see my mom. Now, once I got to high school and the boys started talking about my mom, she couldn't come up there no more. That's when I shut that shit down. I was like, all right, Mom, you stay outside and we will figure it out. I used to tell my mom, go to the office, tell them that you're there and go back outside.
Yeah.
Because I remember when dudes was talking about my mom. My mom thought her little hot ass came up there. She wore I remember this shit like the other day. She wore a plaid shirt, Mike. And you know at the bottom, she tied a little knot with her long jean skirt. And so they was like, I remember when the dudes, he was like, yo, it's a light-skinned mom out there, man. She got a jean skirt on, but she fine. And I was like, oh, hell no. Nah. And I had to go out there and speak to my mom. I said, this will be the last time you do this.
No more. You know, what's funny though with the ducking thing, that's the second time I've heard that story this week because there was another dad that was upset because his daughter ducked him at the football game. And I'm not gonna lie, man. Like I don't know if my son is going to duck me. Like typically when he see me, he's happy. But like if he does, I do have to remind myself that like, yo, they're teenage years, and this is just what kids do.
I'm fixing that shit.
Like to be fair, because like my son, he was back with his mother, and they were walking from the area. Like it's like a restaurant bar area. So they was like walking back and I was driving, right? It's not my week. And like, you know, they saw me and he saw me, right? And he's trying to speak and I didn't see him. It's like, you know, so his mom called me. She's like, hey, you ain't see us? I'm just like, no, my bad. I missed y'all. So he's not in that stage yet where he's ducking me. But I guess that's a rite of passage. I guess at some point, you know, your kids see you and they like, yo, you're not cool enough.
I will fix that this weekend. I'm letting everybody know. All right, y'all. I'll give y'all an update because me and him got a long ride to Florida this weekend.
Be like, you duck me, I'm gonna embarrass you.
Absolutely. Hold on. Here we go. Let's see. Do I actually got it today? Oh, hell no. See? Look at that. Here we go.
Sorry I made everybody sad because I was sad this week. My bad.
That's Mike for you. He will do that for you.
Hey, man, it's a dad's pod. The 10% of the pod that we commit to bad things.
Absolutely. Other than that, we really don't. So y'all get lucky.
Bit of a misnomer.
Hold on. Where the hell is what the hell is going on with my phone? There we go. Oh yeah, I got an update for you too, but we'll get there in a little bit. Hold on, y'all.
I'm quite
Here
sure.
we go.
When sign a prenup, you have built a platform. You have. I'm quite sure. You know, with your success, what you're doing now, you've owned some little change.
Yeah, y'all got
Some little change.
He done blown.
No prenup.
do it because if I'm a truly be led by the Spirit on who God told me to marry, then I can't say I know you chose a butt.
No,
see, those are butts for me. It's like, God, I trust you, but in case you wrong, then I'm gonna go ahead and sign this prenup. And the thing about it, I can never sign a prenup on my heart. I give all of me. So money I'm not married to money. Money doesn't motivate me.
But some guys that would be scared, man.
And that's for them. But we talking about as for me and my house. So for me and my house, I'm not relegated by other people's decision. This for me, I don't care about all that.
Yeah.
Because
would you sign a prenup?
You know, I mean, it really depends on like where I'm at. Like right now, I mean, absolutely not. Pod blows up, you know, in the next 12 months. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely try to put some, you know, guardrails in place in case things don't work out. Like I've already experienced, right? Like my success rate in marriage is 0, right? So I can't assume that the next one, right? Like I can't assume that the next one is going to go well. So and that was Dear Wifey podcast. Laterris Winfield, he was on Henry Hernet Hernandez or is it Fernandez? Henry Fernandez podcast.
Okay.
So I hate anytime people put it on God.
I love it.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if God puts something on your heart, that's for you to do, right? That's not for you to come and use the logical fallacy of appeal to authority to convince others to agree with you. Mm-hmm. So I hate when they do that. I think it's up to every guy. I agree with some of the things he said. I'm not really motivated by money. Like I want money, I need money, but that's so I can do things that I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's not if a woman left me, I would make sure she's okay, right? If I had it within my power to make sure she's okay, I'm gonna make sure she's okay if she leaves, right? But I'm not one of these guys that believe that when you divorce that you should still maintain that same lifestyle. I'm firmly against that. I think once you leave that person, if you don't have the benefits that you want that person have, you need to figure out how to make it work. If you want those benefits, you need to figure out how to make it work with that person, because when you leave, that leaves too. Right? If I trade a car in and it doesn't ride like the car I traded in, I can't say I want this car to ride like the last car. True. I got to go back get that car. So I'm one of those people. I'm like, yo, I don't agree with this whole thing of like, hey, I'm used to a certain lifestyle. Well, you better learn how to get along.
Yeah, yeah. I look at it and I get what he's saying. I mean, when I bought my crib and I went through like the whole class, or whatever, they kept telling us, our instructor. She had bought 3 homes. She had been married 3 times. And every time she got a divorce, she had to split her home, sell, everything. So she told us the law in North Carolina and how that looks. And she said, I'm giving y'all the heads up. And she was a woman. And she was like, I teach this class so nobody has to go through what I went through. Yeah. And so I get it, you know. And
it took her 3 times to learn?
You know, women hard-headed. So I say that to say, you know, these bitches don't listen.
They don't listen.
Not at all. They just don't.
They need a consequence. Anyway, we're not gonna dunk her, y'all. Okay. But I'm just saying.
I was about to dunk on my wife, but you're right. So it was funny though to hear that. And the first thing I said when I left that class, I don't care who I marry. They ain't get my house. They ain't get my house, right? Yeah. And so, all right, I get married.
They get married.
And it was tough. It was like what we gonna do? And I didn't do it. Now, mind you, I got my house before her. It was gonna go to my father, then it would go to Hayden, and then I get married. So it don't matter now, right?
Yeah.
And if anybody has met my father, he's going to do the right thing.
Yeah.
My father would have been like, Hayden, this house is yours. If you know, whatever the case may be. But it wouldn't have mattered because we got married, so it just goes straight to her. And so I was happy about that. And I think about it now, you know, me and my wife had already even had this conversation. Yo, if we split up, you and Roman are staying here. Yeah. I'm not finna allow y'all to go stay in a more expensive place. You ain't finna get me paying for you staying in uptown Charlotte in a skyscraper. If anybody gonna be in a skyscraper, it's going to be me.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get it. Yeah. So here's the thing. I think prenups at a certain level
are necessary,
right?
Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Well, I mean, I think even before then, I think if you have a successful business, I think you need to insulate it, right? I think you need to at least protect that, right? Like even if it's not financial or monetary, right? It's like, hey, no matter where this business grows to, this is an asset outside of our marriage. If it started outside of the marriage, I don't think that's unfair. Now, I don't think they have broke people prenups or working class people prenups, but I think, you know, to his point, right? Like he's successful now, right? Like his pod in the last 2 or 3 years has really blown up. If he chooses not to do that, that's fine. And I'm not gonna say that it's simping. It's a little pandering, right? You know what I'm saying? Because I think he understands his audience, and I think he's pandering, but. Typically, when you're going through a divorce, you're not going through a divorce because you're getting along and like one another.
Absolutely.
So when you're going through a divorce and you're not getting along and you don't like one another, all that fair shit that you used to talk about,
gone.
It is gone. It is punishment time.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to just punish you for today. I want to make sure that you don't recover and do better than me.
If your ex was to say a trait that's like a bad trait of yours, what would they say it is?
Oh God, I mean, it's probably so many. It's like, I think all of them would give me I think they'd all give me with the out of I'm honest to a fault, right? I think that's where, because
Mike is the greatest. He gave himself a pat on the back as his flaw.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would say in my younger days, it probably would be like, you know, I'm very dismissive. Right. So I mean that. But I think again, I don't have maybe I've just like blanked them out of my mind. I can't really think of like any woman.
This is one of the questions I don't put on the board for Mike to prepare for.
That I just, flipped out on. But no, I mean probably not even like not condescending, but definitely dismissive. So I was actually talking to one of my exes and I was just like, I'm your funny ex. And she was like, no, you're not. I'm just like, wait a minute. Well, what do you mean I'm not your funny ex?
Some nigga made her laugh harder, man.
No, I'm the funny ex, man. Like, so I didn't want to know like what ex I was. So I just let the question die. Just like, you know what? I don't even want to know. I'm not the funny ex. I don't want to know.
I am the petty ex. I'm the one that they know. Cause I got a lot of petty. You gotta understand. I got none but aunts. All my uncles are married in. I have a sister. Not saying that women are more petty than men, but I would say they know I don't play. Like if you don't play, I don't play. But when we get to play, I know enough about enough to play, and I don't play fair. So, but I'm a nice guy. All my exes, we cool, we straight, thumbs up.
What ex are you?
I just told you I'm the petty ex.
You're the petty ex. Okay,
yeah.
All
but
right.
Overall, like I'm the one. I show everybody a good time.
Okay.
I am that. I'm the one that when they meet you, bro, when you get her, she's gonna be like, oh, nah, that nigga showed me a time. And I was broke doing it. That is something. You gotta give it up to the dudes who can handle some shit when they broke. Yeah. Shout out to me when I used to be broke. Still broke.
I say I am also I put your girl on X. So
yeah,
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Y'all do not send Christmas cards the way y'all should to me.
Absolutely. And plus I was young hanging out with Mike, so I understood what to do. So
hey man,
I will say that. I will say I know where I came from. Now in group chats, I don't never let Mike get none of that shit off.
Nah, he don't. He do try to give me big ups on here.
Yeah.
I was a great big brother and I'm a great uncle now. I'm unc now. I fully embrace the unc role, man.
You got to. All right. Y'all know what time it is. Oh, before we get started, I want to welcome everybody to the Black Dads Club. This is Pastor Mike Will. I am Gavin. Look, this is episode 152 of the Black Dads Club, sponsored, brought to you by, paid for by the greatest barbershop in Charlotte. NoGrease.
It's not close.
Barbershop at Premium Outlets in Northlake. Darnell, I will be there next week because I look a mess. That's why I got a hat on.
Once I get back from Turkey, I'll start coming.
Oh yeah. We should go next year.
What you gonna get the hair transplant?
Yeah, I need my shit straight.
Let's do that.
But I gotta figure out what they're gonna do. They better not be in there playing though.
Man, no, them turkey things come back looking good, bro.
All right, we gonna see. Hold on, here we go.
I'm gonna get the whole Cornel West thing going.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
I can't stand. Oh my goodness, Tyrese,
get the gray hair.
All right, we back. We figured out that somebody messed up the thing. This is why I was telling somebody last week. I said, "Yo, I already told Mike. I told somebody this at the birthday party. I was like, yo, me and Mike, our next spot is just gonna be ours. Cause I can't stand these niggas. All right, here we go, y'all.
Situation and not think that I'm not high function.
What situation?
Okay, so I'm not married. I have beautiful children.
How many?
8.
By how many women?
3. And this is the kicker. I want more.
By multiple women? What's the intent?
I just want God
by your
to bring
wife?
them. I just want God to bring them.
Oh, okay.
My desire to get married is lower than my fear of divorce. So, as you had said, Dr. Bryant, you said it, I didn't say it, I will agree. I'm just taking my time.
Hold on.
Babies. But you are proactively choosing where you want to be active at and where you want to take your time. Mm-hmm. You want to take your time in having a wife because of your own fears. But you will, and I say this with all respect and love, what I'm about to say next, okay, Cam? But you will selfishly create broken families, even if you're in their life and you're a proactive father, and I believe you're an amazing daddy. I can only imagine with just your presence and knowing you. But these families are still broken. Every child cannot have Papa in the house with them. So some child, if not all, will end up with some kind of deficit without daddy being there. Mm-hmm. Now, you chose to do that. I'm not saying you sat there and woke up one morning and said, I want to be selfish today, so I'm going to go make a baby. Not saying that at all. But those are selfish acts at the expense of your fear. And yeah, that is a low functioning behavior to say that I'm going to build these houses and put kids and these beautiful women and kids in them, but I ain't going to create a home and them babies. But you
for those who do not know, Cam Newton, who has a great looking podcast, by the way, I have to state that. But he sat down with who was that? Dr. Brown?
I don't know. She wanted Real Housewives, right?
No, I think she's actually a doctor. Do they put Real House like?
I think one of the Real Housewives lady is an actual doctor.
Okay, then.
But that's on Cam's Duden podcast.
Yeah. What happened when you saw this?
Well, first question is, I was wondering, did he know that question was coming, or was it? I mean, would you consider that an ambush?
Nah, because he set up the question.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the only reason why. You know what you're gonna ask, and I do believe Cam and Shannon Sharp do this amazing job of just being horny throughout their pod. And some days, it reminds me of when Charlamagne used to be weird and over sexual on the podcast and he'd be funny. And then somebody come in there and let him know, like, yo, you weird.
Yeah.
And then so you got to deal with the 10% or the 30% of people that come in and be like, yo, let me check you on this.
Yeah. You're right. So, I mean, on this podcast, right? The first thing that probably the biggest mantra that I have in here is stop having babies out of wedlock. I think it's the biggest detriment to our community.
The mantra that we get cussed out for all the time?
Yeah. Anybody listen to this pod, if you've listened to more than 4 episodes, you've heard that,
absolutely,
that on this pod. So when I look at, Cam Newton's and what's Nick Cannon, guys like that, right? Mm-hmm. We never look at these guys as being sexually responsible men, right?
Absolutely.
But they're extremely wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where it's sort of get an excuse. I think she was nailed all over the head. Maybe people will hear it more since it's a woman telling the man. I've seen the whole discourse of, yes, thank you for showing that men create broken homes, yada yada yada. Look, there's a role to be played that's played by both sides. I only talk to the men on this pod, and I only make sure that I tell the top third of men the only thing that's going to destroy your life faster than divorce is an out of wedlock baby. Like, period. There's nothing that's going to do it faster. So if you want to ruin your life,
go ahead,
have a kid out of wedlock. So she's all over when she's like, yo, you're creating a broken home and there's a deficit. I mean, I started the pod off basically talking about a deficit, right? Like the regrets that I have, the chapter that's in, and the things that I'm experiencing. And I'm experiencing this as a active father that does have custody, that lives up the street from his son, that sees him on the weeks that and it's like, yo, there's still a guilt, right? So when I see men that make a ton of kids, I don't really look at them and say, yo, that's the kind of man that I want to hang out with, because why don't you feel that you're not doing enough when you've created a broken home?
I saw it. Well, first of all, people started sending it to me, and I always pay attention to the people that don't send it to me. And I'm not even talking about the women. I'm talking about the dudes, especially some of the dudes that have been critical of this podcast, who I've said this to.
Yep.
Who maybe you put it on your story, but you ain't send it to me. Because let me put it like this. When Future do something stupid, I get texts.
Yeah.
Right? When Russell Wilson do something amazing, I get texts.
Oh gosh, if he pours a bowl of cereal for Future Junior, it's just he's the greatest stepdad in the world.
Greatest stepdad in the world, right? When Cam Newton does something ignorant, I get text. So, but when this one, and me and Mike had a ball this weekend. Boosie, we heard your Eminem take. Sound very familiar.
Very familiar.
Very.
Hey, at least it went to the right audience, because his comments are good.
I want to figure out how we get your audience, Boosie, because they respected what you said.
Yeah.
But it sounded very familiar. So when I heard this immediately, the person who sent it to me, I was like, me and Mike say this all the time.
All the time.
You do understand there's a group of people who I no longer hang out with because of this take exactly from this woman. And I see them liking it, and I see their names under it, and I see them commenting. And I'm like, damn, when I said this to you 3 years ago, I was kicked out the group chat. You know what I'm saying? And I thought it was just hilarious. When I see dudes now, one of these niggas out here, he liked our picture of a hat and was like, oh my God, it's amazing. And I looked at it and I was ignore. Why? Because I told him this exact thing she told him. But now it's like, oh my goodness, you want men to get married and then have kids? Well, we've only been saying that for 3 years. Before I had a kid, Mike was saying this.
Yeah.
That's just how crazy this is. But I got a possible simp post of the week. Dun dun dun. Uh-oh. I don't have a do we got any? Hold on.
You having an unnatural allegiance to losers does not like you.
Shout out to Javarius Smith. The first name told me everything I needed to know, my brother.
Oh man, don't do it like that.
She told Cam the truth. I felt this in my soul because it was so relatable. I'm 25 years old with 3 kids by 3 different women. I selfishly created 3 broken homes, although my kids are well taken care of. I love when people do that. It's like when the crackheads stop doing crack and they be like, I take care of my kids now. And it's like, well, they 40.
Yeah. Come on, man.
But it's cool. They are well taken care of. They will never have the luxury, but they will never have the luxury of mom and dad, siblings, all of under the same roof. If I could turn back the hands of time, I would have waited to procreate with my wife. Situations like mine does come dysfunctional. There's no other way.
Well, he's telling the truth right there.
Oh yeah, he's telling the truth throughout all this. It's just I'm gonna tell you why I got this. It's 3 places. I can't be in the 3 places at once, physically or emotionally. I feel short. I don't know why you put that, but you live and you learn. Anybody disagreeing with her is just simply lost. We have to change the narrative. We need more husbands than baby daddies. Let's get it together, black men. Brown heart emoji.
I see why you made this Simp Post of the week. Any place that men get to dunk on black men, they just run to, especially black men. They get an opportunity to dunk on other black men. Like I had just saw a post online where the dude was like, black men, why y'all questioning Kamala and all this other shit?
Oh, we gonna get there.
And I'm just like, dude, like,
you can't question nobody.
Black men will be the 2nd largest voting bloc for Kamala, right? This is not a black male problem thing, right? Like, chill out, man.
Bro. Is this a Simp Post of the week? Was he pandering? Yes.
Absolutely, he's pandering.
Did he lead with his wallet? No.
Yeah.
He probably can't. He has 3 homes plus his own that he got to take care of. So I don't think he got enough money there. But he definitely dunked on black men. So I am going to nominate this Simp Post of the week. My favorite part about this is this young brother who wrote this.
Well, and it's always guys with multiple baby mamas that are having babies with other women, right? Like Cam has what, 2 baby mamas, or is it 3?
3.
Yeah, 3 baby mamas. Nick Cannon has 4 baby mamas.
He only got 4.
Might be more.
He got to be more.
Might be more. Future has 4 or 5, right?
Future got 8.
That's insane. And that's what I'm saying. Like it goes back to the point of when men hesitate to date women that are single mothers. It's not because you had a baby by a rich dude. We actually would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Right. But it is because like typically you had a baby with what is it? Ladarius? Jacharius or whatever, right? Like that's the problem, right? You had a baby with Lacharius, and and he has 2 other baby mamas, and it's like, and you're baby mama number 3, and it's like, I'm good. I don't know what your decision tree matrix look like. I'm sorry. Give me some time. Let me get to know you.
My favorite part is he got 25,000 likes,
insane,
24,000 shares. I love how the bottom third of black men get to represent the top third.
Yeah, because if you pander and if you dunk on the top third, right? Because the top third is gonna take some work to mess with those guys. If you pander, it's like, oh well, yeah, slow clap. You told them Lacharius, and it's like
I look at it and I say, who gets to represent? Who is the bottom third here? It ain't Javarius, Latarius, whatever his name. It's him and Cam.
Dude, you beat me to it because I was just about to say it is. Athletes and entertainers, right? This is why Malcolm X said what he said. This is why it infuriates me when we have a conversation that athletes and entertainers are not the intellectuals of the black community. They're not the thought leaders of the black community. And here's the thing. There's a reason why they're willing to pay a premium on these men instead of paying a premium on men that actually want better behavior for the community.
Absolutely.
And that's what they do with athletes and entertainers. They make sure that they are well compensated. I have a good mind to discuss, the life of Marcus Garvey, W.D. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, and who's our other guy from that era? I am missing the name. But if you go through the finances and how these men lived and who had the most money, the guy that had the most money was the guy that pandered the most. The men that stood up on principles and was saying that, hey, this is what we need to do for the community, they all pretty much almost died broke.
Yeah.
But the dude that they put forward, right? If you go back and you read the readings of W.D. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey, and them interacting and how they felt towards Booker T. Washington, I know this is making some of y'all uncomfortable right now. They intellectually would say, I disagree with him vehemently, right?
Yeah.
But who got paid out of that group?
Well, we're gonna get there.
All right, that's all I'm saying. Like he's not a bottom third man, right? But he was misguided, right? He was.
Yeah, well, I just laughed at this. I said, "Yo, we got Cam Newton making multiple homes. Cam get a lot of fuck shit off, but it's cool.
Well, he's rich, right?
And that's why it's cool. Because when you rich, you can afford to do more fuck shit than most people.
Yes, and they're gonna allow you to make way more mistakes. Like Cam has said what he said. Everybody knows that he's creating broken home, and there's a chick right now that is like ovulation punani ready. Like, here you go, Cam. Number 4 is on deck.
One of my favorite, I don't even know if I should say that. One of my favorite stories is when I saw Cam walk up to what's my sister name? Ashley from Fresh Prince. You remember Ashley from Fresh Prince?
Yeah. Tatiana. Yeah, Tatiana.
Yes, Tatiana. That was the quickest curve I ever seen in my life.
She curved him?
Oh, quick. Mike. Quick. She curved him and Lance Gross in the same night. I watched it. It was at CIAA. She was sitting at the table by herself. Legs crossed. They both walked up to her, and it was
she was by herself?
Mm-hmm. Just chilling. And
that was like my childhood crush.
Oh, you would have been able to talk to her that night because she wasn't in like the super VIP. Oh, and that was their approach. Yo, you want to come over? I'm fine.
Wow.
Oh, what's up? What's going on? Aren't you? I'm good. Too quick. And I thought Lance Gross was gonna get her. Gross, or whatever you want to call it. I knew all the girls was back there just drooling. And when he walked over, I said, oh, he got her. You know what I'm saying? Curved. But then what we find out, I'm a Harvard graduate. I'm super intelligent. I'm not going with, I know who you are. And, it was just amazing. But I just laugh because I'm like, the big community now has been, the big thing now is people. I love when Elon last week was like, "Oh, smaller accounts are now complaining that their content is never seen." It's like, duh, y'all have to push the stupid shit into people that are rich. Like that is y'all thing now. Did you see this bus driver fight this little boy he wasn't even a little boy. He was a grown man.
No, I don't think I saw that one. I've seen a bus driver beat the brakes off of somebody on the bus. We might have saw the same thing.
The dude had a tank top. He had a tank top on. But the bus driver, he asked everybody to go to the back. If you haven't seen it, look up bus driver. The bus driver got arrested. Apparently, the boy is going to get arrested.
Why they arrest the bus driver?
Well, you can't beat up.
Well, I guess you can't fight when you
can't
carrying people around.
Nah. You can't do that. But I did love the bus driver. So the boy was up there. He crossed the little line on the bus. The bus driver told him to back up. He then instructed everybody on the bus to back up. And the boy stood still there, and the boy said, "If you don't get out of my face, I'm gonna spit on you."
Did he stop the bus?
Oh yeah, the bus was stopped.
Okay.
Complete stop. And he said, "If you spit on me, it's gonna be over." And the boy did not move. And when I say boy, he's like in his young 20s. But everything, I do believe these. If you under 24, half of y'all stupid, just like the 16-year-olds. Like not even half of y'all.
Yeah, I mean testosterone is still super high in your low 20s.
There are certain jobs that men who are trying to turn their life around take.
Yeah.
Bus drivers is high on that list. Fast food workers.
Late night drive through. Yeah, don't try it.
Don't try that.
Don't try
Waffle House.
Waffle House, obviously.
Janitors at the high schools. They definitely.
Janitors anywhere, especially if they're old janitors.
Yeah. They didn't been through. They lived through the crack era. They went to jail already.
Yeah. Leave those people alone for sure.
And so the first thing I did was I had Mike's favorite saying came in when I watched the video. Oh, by the way, the little boy he had to spit on the old man. The boy didn't get not one swing in. That's how quick he had him down. People was trying to get on the bus, and it was a black woman. She had to be black. She was in the back saying, "Please, y'all, get him off of him." And nobody did nothing. And they were starting to tell people, don't even try to get on this bus. It's over.
Yeah.
Like he, from one angle, like he was choking him. From the other angle, you saw his hand was just like punching his boy face in.
If you spit on somebody, you should expect that you're about to fight.
Oh.
You should really expect that you're about to fight.
Hope that you live.
Yeah.
But it did get me to this question, the black dad's question of the day. Mm-hmm. Would you rather deal with a man who grew up having no father or a poor representation of a father?
That is a difficult question, man.
And the reason why I got this because I thought about you when I watched this video, and I said, "Where is this boy dad at?" Because my dad taught me, you don't mess with older men.
Yeah, I would say no dad, because no dad, you you have no guidance until you really run into like a real dude, and now it's a real consequence, right? It's a real problem, right? Because men who are working and taking care of their families, that may have had friends that did crazy stuff, but they had made the determination themselves not to do it.
Yeah,
they know what it takes to de-escalate, from an idiot, and sometimes that what it takes to de-escalate is too much, right? So they typically don't want to be in that situation. So I don't know. I would say no dad, because that guy has no clue what it takes to de-escalate, right? Sometimes if you're dealing with a man that had a bad representation of a dad, he'll recognize, all right, it's getting to that limit.
Yeah.
Let me chill. But like no dad, they do what they seen their mamas do, right?
Yeah.
Run up on, yell, escalate higher and higher. And so I don't know. I'd probably say like with a bad representation, because I think if you have a poor representation, at least you could say, well, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
You got that. You at least have the example of, all right, you got all the questions wrong. It was an A-B choice. You got everything wrong, right? Well, you can get everything right by just doing the opposite. So I would say poor represented dad.
I might take the no dad at all, maybe because you just hoping they have a blank sheet, and maybe they're willing to say, yo, I'll give you an example. One of my homeboys, he pledged when he got into college, and I asked him why. Just why? Like, what was your main reason? And he said, I never had a good relationship with men, and I needed to be around men to learn about men.
Solid.
And I said, I respect that. And he said, that's why I joined. And so me and him had that conversation, and it was just like, damn, I get it. Sometimes people start. The flip side is my dad, my father grew up with an inconsistent father, right?
Yeah.
And he did exactly what Mike said. All right, I'm going to just do the opposite on the test. I also know some people who dad was inconsistent, and they just they think that shit is cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know some girls who dad was inconsistent. They think like, yo, my dad he was a fly ass dad. And it's like, yo, your dad wasn't like.
Yeah, I mean, so it's parenting is tough, man, because like even if you have an inconsistent dad, or if you have a dad that's like not there because he's working, typically you have a mother that reinforces what the father should do, right? So it is part dads when they're inconsistent or unavailable, but typically like your mom will do something along the lines of when I talk to your dad, right?
Yeah.
And so you know that the discipline and the decision is coming from your father, even if you don't see him, even if he doesn't stay with you, if he's in the military, if he drives trucks. Typically a good mother reinforces this is what you're going to deal with the father. So, I would say that's what I'm saying. Like, I think no representation is kind of worse because there is no consequence for your actions. And when you run into that consequence in the real world, it's typically at the highest level, right?
Facts.
Like, Facts. You haven't been, you ain't been warmed up to it.
Absolutely. Last week we talked about Tyrese, and I told y'all, yo, Tyrese is getting to that good part of acting that when he do interviews, I don't know if he's acting.
Man, you said that, and I thought about that as soon as I saw that clip, man. I was just like, I don't know if he's being genuine
or if he's playing
or if he's acting, and that's problematic for him.
That is problematic for me, and for me believing him and caring about him. And I will say this, he on Shannon Sharp right now.
Yeah, it drops today at noon, right?
It drops today, and part of my issue with Tyrese is he's on his acting promo skit of we about to break all Cat Williams numbers. I'm here to tell Tyrese you not.
I mean, if he reveals a lot, I mean, he is Hollywood. He's the music industry and Hollywood.
Yeah, but Tyrese is on a press tour right now because of his wife and baby mom, who I think is the same person. Cat Williams came out of nowhere. We wasn't expecting Cat Williams. He kicked in like 5 episodes before Shannon. And you talked about people who don't like to be talked about. I'm predicting that I don't think Tyrese gonna break Monique numbers. You definitely ain't breaking Steve numbers.
Yeah, you saw Steve Harvey actually. I think he's at Invest Fest. He actually talked shit on Cat a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, so he knock him out. But Steve said something that y'all know I'm not the biggest Steve Harvey fan. I should be honest, I'm not a Steve Harvey fan. Trying to soften that blow, but he said something that actually it's really, really true. He said your haters will never have more than you. Your haters are always going to have less than you have. And that's real. Like, and you do have to remind yourself of that on social media, that the people that are doing better than you, they don't hate you. They don't care, right? At worst, they don't care, right? Yeah. Most of them, they're not really worried about you. But people that are miserable, they are invested into making you feel worse than they feel.
Do you think Steve Harvey is talking strictly financial? Because he loved to get these type of things. And if
he was definitely big banking them.
Yeah,
absolutely, he was big banking them. So I mean, it wasn't a motivation speech by any means.
Yeah.
But he said that line. He was talking shit. But somebody was saying that I'm not addressing it in a room full of people that recording it. You absolutely are addressing it.
Yeah, and I mean that's the money standpoint, and I get that from Steve, and he's right. The only problem with Steve is some people ain't motivated by money.
That is true.
Some people didn't sell their soul for money. I shout out to Omar Gooden. He came by, and I spoke with him last week, and he said he was talking about why he never grew up shucking and jiving for the industry. He said some of us don't need it. Some of us do. And he said a lot of us that do it get rich off of it. But some of us can't sleep at night knowing that we shucked and jive for X, Y, and Z. And Cat might feel that way.
Yeah, and it's a hard place to be because, I mean, how much do you want to give up shucking and jiving to make money, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? I remember Steve Harvey made the joke of Planet of the Apes when they was making it. And it was like, I don't know if he was in it, but he was just saying, like, I guess somebody he knew. And he was like, yeah, we got to wear these ape suits. And he was just like, I'm not going to wear an ape suit. And then, he was like, oh, well, they paid me $120,000 to wear this ape suit. And then Steve Harvey started acting like a gorilla or a monkey, right? And that's low key him telling you, like, when it comes to money, I'm willing to do it, right? Now, if I was in Hollywood, right, and I'm a struggling actor, and they was like, hey, Mike, you got to dress in an ape suit, and they're going to pay you $120,000, right? I'm probably not saying no.
Yeah.
Right? I'm probably not saying no, right? It's my job. It's a movie. It's a set, right? But could I come back and say, and play on camera on the podcast and make monkey noises, right?
Yeah.
That I can't do. So to your point, I think there's
$250,000.
I'm not coming on the mic making monkey noises, right? There's really no amount of money that you can make me come on the mic and make monkey noises, right?
I can find a number.
I mean, you probably can, but it ain't gonna be 120,000. But it's my point. So I'm trying to agree with you, man. God damn,
1 million downloads of this podcast a week.
1 million downloads a week.
I'm going to make the noise. I'm going to let you know.
I got to get the downloads first. I can't make the monkey noises prior, and that's what Steve did. Steve made the monkey noises in the joke, right?
Yeah.
But then when you look at his success level, right, and this is like ignoring the Bernie story, right, of backstabbing. When you see where he is, I don't know. Like, I think a lot of people find that an easy sell your soul type place.
Yeah.
Right. But I think there's a certain subset of men that's like, well, I don't need that to be rich, right? I don't need to be a billionaire, right?
Yeah.
I could be happy at 100.
Yeah.
So I think both men are right, but I think society gives one man way more credence, and I think that's a mistake. I think the man that has a standard and has a code should deserve our utmost respect, not the richest man.
Absolutely. That was well said. I will say this. So if you watch the Tyrese Breakfast Club interview, he gets in there, he talks about black men crying, right? And we talked a little bit about it. I was just telling Mike last week that, I thought it was funny him throwing napkins in the air. And I can't tell if Tyrese, and that's what I meant by I can't tell if he's being serious or not, right? And part of me now, the whole big thing came out was like, oh, black men do cry. Black men do cry. And I'm like, we know this, right?
Yeah, we're human.
Absolutely.
Everybody cries.
And so, and we've already had this conversation back in the day of like, black men do cry, but your woman don't want to see you cry.
Your woman does not want to see you cry. I don't care what she tells you. I don't care how much of a safe space she tells you that it is.
She ain't trying to hear that shit.
She's not trying to hear it. Bro, I give you a good example. My sister probably do not want me to tell this. But anyway, my first day of school, my nephew gets lost, right? Core memory unlocked.
Yeah.
But anyway, my sister is upset, right? And my mom is with her. My mom just happened to be in town. So my mom calls me and she's like, I don't want your sister to see me upset because my mom is upset. So mom is calling me upset, right?
Yeah.
I can't get upset, right? I can't. My job is to hold it in the road. right? You know, so when she calls me, I was like, all right, we're working through it, working through the process. Everything is probably fine. It's first day of school. This happens in Charlotte all the time. You know, let's work back to the beginning and figure out how we can get this problem resolved and how it cannot happen again, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, 30 minutes pass, mom calls him back, everything is fine.
Yeah.
Nephew is found, right? Now, at that moment, I get emotional, right? Like I'm I'm joyful, like, man, like I almost tear up, like, gosh, man, like not today on a Monday, first day of school. My nephew, they just got up here in Charlotte.
New city.
You know, new city, and it's like I'm upset, and it's like, yo, but I didn't have in that moment, I could not be the person that's upset. But once it was resolved, like, yo, I had to take a moment on. I was at the gym. I had to take a moment to sit down, right? Yeah. So this idea that like, yo, we do not experience emotions, that's not true. But I can also tell you when they're calling you for comfort, your ass can't break down, bro.
With that, but you know what? I want to go even deeper than this. I'm tired of, we love highlighting black men being emotional when it's time to emasculate black men.
Woo,
and
boy.
I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Woo. Everybody know I'm a photographer.
Woo.
Everybody knows that I work in creative spaces. You would never, I dare anybody, and I promise you, the one that it's gonna take you a minute to find it because I'm sure it's out there. You won't never find a black male art gallery, art show that's not called Black Boy or the word joy's in there. Every time it's the chance for black male only art to be shown. It's always Black Boy Joy or Black Boy this or the joy of a black man. It's always that because we always gotta emasculate it, and it's weird, right? And I think that America has a obsession or a fetish of emasculating black men. And
it's definitely weird. A fetish. It's definitely a fetish. And it's overrepresented because the vast majority of black men are sages, right? Like that's when black men get older, the vast majority are super wise. And I was talking to a good friend this morning because, we talking about the election and politics and, civil rights. Because I actually, this is not a plug. It's not patting myself on the back. I went and re-listened to Dr. King's last speech like yesterday. Okay. So we was talking about that this morning. And I was like, when we go through our civil rights leaders, right, whether it's Patrice, Sankour, Mandela's in jail, Dr. King, Malcolm X, Huey P., Fred Hampton, right? I'm like, they all met terrible demises, right? And it's like that's the roadmap that they want us to have as black men, right? But I said the most successful black men, I was like, we barely talk about them, right? And I was like, that's Maynard Jackson, Willie Brown, what's my other guy's name, right? But it's like that's the roadmap of black men that we need to follow. Like we need to follow those. Harvey Gantt, is another one, which is right here in Charlotte.
Shout out.
Like these were like guys that as soon as the apartheid ended, took over major cities and pushed those cities forward into economic success. There's not a more successful city in the South than Atlanta.
Fact.
There's not a more successful city in the West than San Francisco. Charlotte is the next up and coming, but a lot of the things that was put in place in Charlotte, because Charlotte did not want to bend for the apartheid. Go look up the next case after Brown versus Board. Right here in Charlotte. Look up the busing case. It's right here in Charlotte, right? That's what Harvey Gantt had to run into, but he had to set the roadmap as a city councilman and as a mayor to get the Charlotte that you have here today.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the roadmap of black men. That's what black men do. That should be the representation of black men, right?
Yeah.
Not black men that have met their demise and not ultra wealthy, simping, shitty ass dudes, bottom third ass dudes.
Absolutely. And it got weird. I remember when I was doing a gallery one time and we was in a class and I turned in some pictures and my teacher, who was a black male, he said, yo, take all these pictures out with black people smiling. And I was like, yo, what? And I was confused. And then
I'm confused. Listening.
One of the dudes who was sitting beside me bust out laughing. All of us black, by the way. He was like, yeah, older people don't like black people being happy. And I said, wait, what? And he looked at me. He said, go look at all the pictures of your grandparents, your great-grandparents, your great-great-grandparents. He said, do nobody find it weird that all black history pictures from back in the day, none of them are smiling? We be weirded out when we were so happy when we saw Martin Luther King on the phone, look like he macking on the phone.
Yeah. True.
All the other pictures we got of Martin Luther King is what? In distress.
Yeah, distress.
Despair.
Yeah.
Every time we see a picture of Malcolm X, we got a couple of him smiling. But what's everything else he doing? Yelling. Fussing. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like when you go look at your grandparents, whether they were sharecroppers, and I understand the times, it ain't no happy-go-lucky times. I get that. But I can guarantee all of our great-grandparents that were sharecroppers, they have happy times.
They have happy times.
They took happy pictures.
We don't get here if they didn't have at least some happy times.
Look.
we don't make it.
But why we ain't got those pictures? Look at your history books.
It's almost like it's by design.
Well, thank you. To lighten this up, I'm supposed to ask Mike right now, what's one thing he don't do in relationships?
Oh, one thing I don't do in relationships.
That's random as hell.
That is random.
Come on, man. We're gonna run through sexy red lip lip gloss.
Something I don't do in relationship. This is gonna sound wow.
Oh gosh.
And to any woman that's listening that we dated but we weren't in a relationship.
Oh gosh.
Don't try to like put yourself in here. I don't like cheating in a relationship. That's one thing I really refuse to do. I will not cheat in a relationship. And I'm not opposed to cheating. It's just that I don't like it. It's weak to me. It's like, why am I going behind your back? I can just leave you.
You do know Side Chicks is one of our favorite, most watched videos.
Yeah, it is. And look, you know what the crazy thing is? Like, I can't really say I've ever really had a side chick in a relationship, bro.
Oh my God.
I've had some situation chicks where I've had like a side chick, but in a relationship, I can't really say like, because most of the time, my son gonna watch this one day.
One day, but this will be early on. By the time he watching, we gonna be good. We're gonna be at Invest Fest.
I don't know. I refuse to do a relationship. I don't know. I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something that I've matured into.
Okay.
That I refuse to do a relationship. I refuse to berate my woman. Like I won't. And when I was younger, I absolutely would get in arguments, and I mean go in. And I look back on that as the most embarrassing part of me dating, and I'd say throughout college, probably through like my mid-20s. So one thing that I refuse to do in a relationship, I will not berate my woman, man. I will handle my woman with love and care. And I am not pandering right now. Like, please do not think that I am pandering to women right now.
Simp Post of the week.
Yeah. But what I've learned is, in order for you to get the desired outcome, that's how a woman needs to be handled. So it's like, yo, do you want to win the argument, or do you want whatever you need done to get done? And I like to get things done. I don't care about winning an argument. So I will say the one thing that I refuse to do in a relationship is to berate my woman. I won't do it.
You can ask my wife; she will confirm it for you. I ain't going to no grocery store, and I ain't paying no electricity bill. I ain't doing either one.
Oh man,
Mike gave y'all the maturity. I'm giving y'all what go on in my house. I ain't paying no electricity bill. And the main reason why is because, hey, I go put some clothes on. I'll take my socks off if I get hot or cold. You know what I'm saying? My wife is always cold. Or always, she runs hot, so she just willing. You know what I'm saying?
Gabby, like, I don't even want to see it.
I don't want to see it. That's the one bill.
That's on you.
Yeah, that's the one bill that you can like really control.
That's you know what? That's not a bad tactic to the temperature argument.
Yeah,
it's not a bad tactic, because when you paying it, you feel like they don't care.
They don't care.
But if they paying it, you like, you know what? Get whatever temperature you want.
As soon as she moved in, I say, look.
Y'all that's two techniques that we just gave couples right there.
Fact. Dad tip of the week.
Not dad's tip of the week. You'll become a dad with these two tips, right?
Fact.
Don't berate your woman and make her pay the electric bill.
Absolutely, you be good. We're gonna run through it. We ain't even gonna talk about it. Sexy Red, shout out to the programming.
Yeah,
this whole episode might be called The Programming. Like, look, this is it.
That using those names, like, who approves that, man?
The white man who wants to program. Like, come on.
Yeah.
She got one called Nut, Yellow Discharge. These are Sexy Red's lip gloss names. Booty Hole Brown, I wasn't even mad at because it goes along with the song. But the rest of them, I'm like,
disgusting. The discharge one, like that's
just too much.
That's disgusting. Like,
period on my panties. I mean, no, period. I don't know.
It is definitely programmed, and and it's crazy. Like some of the stuff to get cleared. It's like the young man who died in Jacksonville was the rapper Fulio, and then they showed I guess his rival is Young Ace. I may be misquoting as I am so far out this genre.
Ace I mean,
yeah, Ace I mean, right? And he has the song where they're on the golf course,
yeah, that's
or whatever.
I told you about that. On the
you talking about that, and I'm like, who cleared this? Like, no one would clear that track for any like. How did they get cleared?
When I've been to maybe 3 or 4 golf courses in my life, and it's only because I've been photographing here. Before I got to the wedding part, I would stop 4 times to ask me, did I know where I was going?
Yeah, making your way around. Like I'm like, who cleared this?
For you, like, so I say that to say, the song that Mike is talking about is called Who I Smoked, and it's 4 boys on a golf course. They doing the White Chicks song. I forgot the name of that song. But they're talking about killing people. But let's get past that. The fact that they on the golf course. Who cleared for y'all to be on the golf course?
Who cleared the golf course? Who cleared the song? The song is like Making Your Way Downtown.
Yeah, that song.
Right, whatever that song is. And I'm like, when you sent this to me, I'm like, who cleared this? Like, there's no way this gets done without someone very important, more than likely, 9.9 times out of 10, not black.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it is programming, man. So when you see like that video, right? Sexy red lipstick line. It's
Uncle Luke. Why y'all on the internet?
Hey, man. You know what? I gave you credit. I'm gonna have to say, I gotta start.
Give my credit right now.
I gotta start agreeing with Gavin. Generation X is like, get them off the internet. Get us off the internet. And then look, we are bad at it, man. Somebody had hit me up on Facebook. I checked my Facebook Messenger. He's like, damn, man, I ain't seen you in a while. And I literally told her, I was like, no, bro, I'm on Twitter. I was like, I can't do full social medias. I can only do 2 at a time.
Yeah.
Get old men off the internet. I agree.
Even Jermaine Dupri.
Gavin's right.
Look.
Generation X. Get off the internet.
Get off the internet. Jermaine Dupri. Get off the internet. In Jermaine Dupri, if you don't know, he was running and he had a question of, which Mike can answer. He wanted to know, Kamala's giving us these policies that she's doing. However, I ain't gonna say her team, but his thing was, hey, Republicans are asking, why haven't Kamala done anything and she's in office right now? Your retort to that is,
she's the vice president. Vice presidents don't do anything. It's damn near a symbolic role. There's only been 2 active vice presidents. That was George Bush, who's pretty much president for 12 years in this country while he was under Ronald Reagan, and Dick Cheney, right? Like, typically vice presidents do not do anything whatsoever. If you had to name 5 vice presidents with a gun to your head, the vast majority of us, if we don't remember the founding fathers who was VPs that became presidents, we're gone.
Yeah,
we're gone, right? But if you had to name like the last 5 vice presidents,
hold on. Joe Biden. Well, do Kamala count? Can I use her or no?
Not using Kamala. That's too easy, right?
So Mike Pence, Joe Biden, Dick Cheney, and I don't know nothing before.
Let's see here. Who was
it would be George Bush, right?
George.
Well, you said we can't use presidents that was there.
Well, let's see. No. Who was George Bush vice president? No, that was Dick Cheney.
Dick Cheney. So yeah. Who came before George Bush?
That would have been his
Bill
father,
Clinton.
right? No, Bill Clinton.
Who was the vice president? I don't remember. I was a kid.
That was Al Gore.
Oh yeah.
And then we had George Bush Sr., who vice president, I believe, was Dan Quayle. Then we had Reagan, who I think vice president was George Bush. And who was the president? Jimmy Carter. I could not tell you who Jimmy Carter vice president was.
So I got 4.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like, gun to our head, like most of us couldn't even name vice president. So it's like this idea that we're like, what is Kamala? Y'all got me taking up for Kamala. Y'all are wrong for this.
Hey man,
y'all wrong for this.
Kamala, instead of asking me for $10,
whatever her name is,
Kamala.
Whatever.
Instead of asking me for the $10 in my email, you better use that clip from Mike. I gave you one, sis. And shout out to your sister.
Yeah, leave Kamala alone when they talk about like her policy. Like, come on, she's the vice president.
Shout out to your sister. She looks great. Shout out to Kelly Rowland this weekend. Oh my gosh.
Cool. Kelly Rowland. Hey man, Kevin Samuels, he was all over that one.
Look.
He was all over that one.
Kelly Rowland's
good Lord.
Beautiful. But you know what? Going back to Jermaine Dupri, Mike is absolutely correct. But you know, I want Generation X to get off the internet because it's nothing but low-level debates on the internet.
It really is. We should not be having them.
You either arguing with bots or people that's stupid, and it's time for everybody to reset your feed. I hope everybody understands if you're on social media, your information is being sold.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's not even remotely close. It's not even like, yo, they know everything. They know everything about you with these damn phones. The phones is the greatest thing ever. You know, one of my favorite lines is, one of my favorite things is learning that Apple, Spotify are in the, they present to us as we're in the music business.
Yeah.
But what it really, they're in the information collection business.
Yeah, they're in the they're in the data business.
Oh, speaking of, I was watching a doc. It's on Netflix. It's called Murders of the Mormon Church. Please watch it. It's 3 episodes. It's quick. I watched it all last night. It ain't the greatest, but one thing that I didn't know that the Mormons are in the Mormons started. They didn't start it, but some Mormon members started a document collection service. And so they used to collect documents. Apparently, it's like 116 pages missing from the Mormon book. Isn't it like 3 books of the Bible missing?
Oh, this is way more than 3 books of the Bible missing. Like half of the books, like 75% of the books didn't even end up in there.
And so the Mormon church, which is like the youngest religion, I think it's only 150 years.
Yeah.
They're super young. They're missing like 116. Well, it was a guy who was a Mormon who got upset and he started forging documents for the Mormon church. Like, but he was so good at forgery. So great. They think he's the greatest forger of all time.
Whoa! Now I'm interested.
Yeah, we just watched the last 2 episodes. The first one is like they make you think that the Mormon church is into it, but they talked about he has sold documents to the United States. They believe he's responsible for selling documents to the United States as George Washington's like first letters.
Oh, wow.
That's how good he was. The boy, he went to jail in his mid-30s. He started forging when he was 12. And they were showing all the steps he was doing to like sell stuff. And it was just amazing to watch. But I tell everybody to watch it. We got to listen to this clip. It's a minute and then we'll be up out of here. I got to do it for my girl, man.
Who are we doing now?
Come on, man. You know Mel is coming, man.
Oh.
Hold on, man. Shout out to Mel. Mel, I love you, and I'm going to show my love after this part. But, you know, come on, Mel. Let's do it right. Let's do it right.
Indiscriminately. That is a very important part of my definition. You know that when girls are talking about a nigga and then they say, you know, he's for the streets, his dick has been fucking everywhere, he's a hoe, that's what they mean. That's what they mean. The guy who just indiscriminately sticks his dick in everything he suspects is a fucking vagina because he personally, we view that as somebody who has very low self-esteem and very little self-respect.
Wait, whoa.
But you guys would view a woman that way.
Let me ask you. A man that has sex with a lot of women, you women view him as a guy with low self-esteem?
Some women do. Some women do. Yes.
How often do y'all date men like this?
What?
Go ahead, Imani. Get her.
Hoes?
Yeah. How often do y'all find yourselves feeling this way about men of that caliber, but then end up dating them?
I'm gonna speak for myself.
I'm just saying,
and say that I don't go out of my way to date hoes.
But what if you find out someone you like was a hoe?
I'd probably be a little.
She'll do it. I can't say that.
And how do y'all feel when you date hoes?
She'll ride
feel okay with that?
Sorry, fight back, girl.
She definitely fight back. She definitely hit him with that question with a question. It was a good one though.
Let me tell y'all this before Mike goes. Mel, poor Mel. Mel,
like,
I love you.
How y'all feel y'all date hoes? How do you feel when you date a hoe?
Well, I'm about to answer. It's the first girl I lost my virginity to. Hoe, whore, slack. But I love Mel. Poor Mel though. Mel has this thing. I'm convinced. There's a question in the Joe Budden's community as who's the most intelligent podcaster, and Mel is always top 3. I don't know if she belongs there because I don't know which Mel. What's the real Mel? Is this the real Mel? You know, one of my favorite things, and
I think this is the real Mel. I think that's why I like this clip.
Mel has a question of there was a boy maybe a month ago, and he wasn't a boy. The bottom third of men, I don't care how old you are, you're a boy to me. He was jerking off on the train, right? And Mel said every woman she knows in New York has had that happen where dudes sit beside them and jerk off, and the guys quickly made her walk that shit back. because she said every girl I know has had this happen. Then it was every girl she knew in New York.
Yeah.
And then they told her, well, how many girls do you know? 4 or 5. And so she walked it back. So I say that to say male lives in a fairy tale world for women. And I am afraid that is the community that gets to be represented on the internet. I made that clean. I cleaned that up again. I do believe that that's what the women that they show us on the internet live in. Fairy tale worlds. But anyway, back to this on women in community dick. Take it away, Mike.
Women don't care.
They do not care.
Women do not care. And again, this is like what I love about our sisters is they will take on both sides of the argument, right? Women will say, oh, I don't want a man that, that slept with a bunch of women. And then they will also not date men that don't have a bunch of women, right?
Facts.
So the more women you have, especially like the more beautiful women that you have, like, dude, like part of my game when I was young was I would always have a super attractive friend, right?
Facts.
Whether I was dating her or not, right? Just me being out with her.
Oh my God!
Would provide me access to the women that I wanted to talk to, right? So and let me.
Why do you think I had Ashley with me all them times?
I had an Ashley too. Hope her husband don't listen to the pod anymore. But but here's the thing. Here's the thing. She's married now. I have not messed with her since she was married.
Shout out to Ashley, man. I think we lost her to the streets.
Yeah, but the ideal of game, right? Y'all guys think that game is it doesn't come from being able to lie to a woman. That's not what game is. Game is short for gamify. Gamify is recognizing that you're in a competition and enticing other people to compete with you.
Okay.
So it's not game as in lying to women to get women. If you're doing that, you don't understand what it means. It's short for gamify. Just Google the definition of gamify.
Okay.
So in gamify, to get someone to play with you, you have to entice them to play, right? This is why they send kids to school. That's why kids don't learn at home, because they want kids to go and learn how to gamify, right? How to interact with other humans, because when they're older, that's what they're going to have to do. It's the same thing when you're dating, right? When you meet a woman, she's not competing with you. She's not playing with you, right? You have to introduce yourself to her, to convince her to introduce herself back to you, and then entice her to have a conversation with you, right? Mm-hmm. And if y'all get along and like each other, she's now participating in the human experience with you, right?
Okay.
So it's gamify. So women like men that are good at that is my whole point. Like, so now I will say there is, I wouldn't say low self-esteem. I would say sometimes it is overconfidence and a lack of discipline. Mm-hmm. So and you could argue that is not valuing yourself, but you're playing both sides of it, because part of what men have been taught is value, and that is not just from men. It's been taught from women that like you as well. Is the more desirable you are, the more women that you're going to bed with. Yeah, well, bed. Well,
I ain't know if you put a period right there.
I'm just like that's part of it. So I think the maturation is for men is understanding quality over quantity, and that conversation, I don't think we have it enough. I think when we're young, our testosterone is too high to even care. But it should be one of those things where you're like, hey, as a man, hit the brakes way sooner than later in life when it comes to being out here and possibly becoming community dick.
Melyssa Ford, I already said I love you. Melyssa Ford, you're starting to replace Ish as far as my most disliked pod person. However,
they're gonna call you a misogynist for hating a woman.
They are, but I'm gonna clean it up if Mike let me. See, now it's too long of a pod, so they've said it 3 times already. A pause. Melyssa Ford. However, you are now my Carrie. I'm going to keep watching Homeland because I dislike you, and you would not stop me from watching. Melyssa Ford, count your days as I don't believe you can get fired now. I just knew you was gonna walk out that door, especially because Joe has been making comments, and I believe that when me and Mike get to where we're gonna go, me and Mike are gonna have roles that we have to play.
Yeah,
and I know your role now, Melyssa Ford, and you play it well. You play that middle rope.
Yeah,
you want to be Switzerland so bad, and I love it because the boys don't allow you to. So now it's dogpiling, which works for you because whenever you do leave, it's going to be they dogpiled me for so many hundreds of episodes.
And I think I think for Joe Budden podcast, which is the Podfather, right?
Yeah,
like I think it works, right? Like if they replace her with Mandy, I don't think the guys would enjoy coming to work as much.
No, not at all.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
And
I think that would affect the pod, right? So I think Melyssa being,
she's never mind.
Playing the naivete role of, oh my God, y'all are attacking me, but her also being sharp to be able to put her fangs out as well. Mm-hmm. I think that plays right because she pulled the claws out, she scratches the guy, then the guy's all dog pile, right? And then she reverse back.
I do believe.
And I think that's on purpose.
And I think Joe needs to start giving Melyssa more mental health days. And I'm not even being funny. I would, because you could tell when she's out of it. You could tell. Joe made a joke like 2 months ago. It was like, oh, I got everybody's number. I want to know how he ran this report. He have a number of how many minutes on average for however long it was, how many minutes each person spoke.
Oh, wow.
And they were laughing because they said all the guys were like, dang, Mel, that's why he wanted to talk to you before we started potting that day. And it's correct. She speaks the least because I think it's the dog palate. Now, I say all that to say this. As a young boy, I remember watching, you remember Deliver Us from Eva?
Yes.
You remember when LL showed up to the pool party and they was trying to hook him up with Gabrielle Union? And the first thing he was like, oh, yeah, he says, I have a girlfriend. And Eva, Gabrielle Union, walks off. And they said, why do you do that? LL said something that stuck with me as a kid. He said, no woman wants a man that no other woman wants. He said, the next time she sees me, I would have broken up with my girl and she's non-existent. And that's exactly what happened. You know what happened when I got to middle school and I started having nothing but homegirls? They kept saying they all kept dating the same nigga in school. He was the star running back. That nigga's a bum now, but that's not the point. But in middle school, he ran every girl. If you was black at Bradley Middle School, you like Ray.
Hey man, he peaked early.
He peaked early, too early.
Peaked too early. Can't peak
His
too
homeboy
early.
peaked in college, and I mean, he just flunked out of school because I think he had too many kids first semester.
Hey, I can't laugh at that because I definitely peaked in college. Well, I won't say I peaked, but I definitely hit my extent, and I definitely did not make it through my first stint in college.
I say that to say I learned at a very young age that women love community dick. They do. It's fine. Y'all do. The thing is, I'm not saying y'all marry them. The dudes who are quiet in our community dick, they get married because they get to act like they ain't know what was going on or they might be lying. But women love community dick and dudes love hoes. I'm not saying either one of us marry those people, but when we see a hoe, I don't think she got low self-esteem. I just think she a hoe.
Yeah, I mean, she likes sex, and I mean, most of the young hoes got married. Like most of them are happily married. To, pastors and doctors.
Yeah. And it is what it is.
I will say this, like when it comes to dating a hoe, and this is not us calling women hoes. I know y'all like to clip shit. But I'm talking dating a chick that has no sexual discipline. It is heartbreaking when you fall in love with her and then you find out that damn, you really is a thought. That is heartbreaking.
Yeah. Or when you find out they got a man.
That is, if you're a thought and I walk into it and I'm like, oh, I know you're a thought, you could be a homegirl. All right, I'm cool with that. But when it's like, yo, man, I started liking you for real, you be like, oh man.
I told you about when I got to college, man. My girlfriend, quote unquote, she wasn't mine. She was the whole first floor of Pembroke.
Ooh, that just hits you in your heart, bro.
Did, man, because my roommate saw her coming out of my room and he was just like, and me and her didn't even mess around. She was just coming to check on me. And he was like, yo, she go out of everybody's room. Did she stop at your room? And he was like, he went across the hall. He brung one of the homeboys back across the hall. And he was like,
they gave you that speech.
The intermission. And he was like, bro, she's the first and third floor of this dormitory. That's everybody girl. And I was like, why she don't mess with the second and fourth floor? For some reason, Pembroke thought if we put the guys on one floor, the girls on the second floor, the guys on the third floor, and the girls on the fourth, they won't intermingle. Nope. She was just going up. And it was bad for me, but it is what it is.
How did that affect your grades?
Oh, this happened the second, third week of school. I got rid of her. I was good. You knew me. Well, when you met me, I was a square. I was more of a square before you met me.
Did you see the square conversation on Twitter this weekend with a dude? He's actually talking to, I think that's Ish. I don't know if you've seen that clip, but anyway, he's like, I guess they were talking about Channing Crowder calling Russell Wilson a square, and he was just saying that if you're a square calling another dude a square, that only real street dudes can call dudes square, and dudes with felonies. His point was almost saying because he was defending Russell Wilson, which everybody would like. But
everybody would like.
Yeah, I hate when people be like, you know, you're not a street dude if you don't have a felony. Like, I do want everybody to know the whole point of like committing crimes is not getting caught.
Absolutely, especially if it came from Ish, a guy who did time for selling drugs.
Yeah.
I would say this: I'm so over the street conversation.
I'm over it.
Especially because all of y'all are now having kids who will grow up in the suburbs. And your kids are going to be well off because you have given up the street life to move them into the suburbs. Also, I'm over the street stuff because a lot of y'all, I don't believe you.
No. Most dudes are weak out there in the real world.
The dudes who I know who got a body, they have never told me they got a body. I could just tell.
Yeah, like dudes. Yeah.
You know, one dude tried to tell me he caught a body, and I don't think I looked at my phone and said, if you gonna send this to an iPhone, you really didn't do this.
Yeah, I don't get. Yeah, I don't like the street stuff. I
don't like it. And it's like, yo, if you a drug, like, Mike, when all that cocaine floated up at the beach, Mike said, yo, we're not turning this in. We're not going to promote that we found it. We getting this off and we're going our separate ways. Like, certain things street people just don't do. And as a person, I look. Y'all see, look what the streets have given us over the last couple of years. I do want to have, and we're going to do this another episode. Apparently, Joe and them was talking about who the biggest beneficiaries of hip hop, the biggest beneficiaries and losers. But we'll get there. We've already had that conversation.
I would love to have that one. I mean, it's probably going to get pulled off of YouTube because I can tell you who the biggest beneficiaries are.
Absolutely.
Those will not be named.
Patreon is coming one day. All right, we're going to run through this. Biggest franchise in your life that has impacted the culture.
Impacted the culture. I mean, growing up, it was definitely like the Chicago Bulls, if you say a franchise. But the biggest culture changer was Fab Five. Fab Five changed basketball. Like, and that's crazy because they changed basketball from the pro level all the way down to, like, you know, I mean, white kids playing basketball.
Yeah.
You know, it took 30 years for shorts to reach back their normal size.
Facts.
So that definitely was who changed the culture in my era. How about yours?
Probably the Lakers. And I would say it because you had the Shaq and Kobe, and Kobe carried it. Mind you, everybody know I was born in 89, so I was too young when, I mean, Michael Jordan just himself, but that's not really my time.
Yeah.
But we were seeing people, but it was definitely, it had to be that. And I mean, the culture, it's just the Lakers, just the LA there, just we watching it, and you got every celebrity and their mom there. I will say something else about the Fab Five. Black shoes and black socks. That's y'all got that because of the Fab Five.
Yeah.
And I don't think people understand how important that is. I remember I wanted a pair of black shoes, and my dad said, no, they only make girl shoes black. Boys always get the white shoes, girls got the black shoes. And I remember I wanted some Pippins, and the boys was in white and the girls was in black. And it was funny because then they started integrating more of black shoes in boy stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely the Lakers, man. I would have to say that. But the athlete for us all was, I don't know. There is that conversation of who impacted the culture more. Is it LeBron or Kobe? And that's something. Speaking of LeBron, it's not going to be between you and Kobe, but it's between you and J-Lo. Who getting the next ring?
J-Lo.
Absolutely.
Going away.
J-Lo.
Negative 1,000.
Is she going back to an ex? Because her and A-Rod never got married, right?
Yeah, her and A-Rod probably making too much money with too many beautiful Latinas to even care at this point. Is he from the DR?
Yeah,
DR.
They cheat.
I'm about to check y'all out here soon.
So Columbia, I'm gonna check y'all out soon.
Oh yeah, Columbia.
If you're in Columbia listening to this, I will be down there soon.
They're not. They don't speak English at all.
I think we need to turn the transcribe on. Ben, translate all of our podcasts for us.
So definitely J-Lo's getting another ring for LeBron. I'm pulling for LeBron, but I think it's over, man.
That shit cook. What is also over? Malika, you never beaten allegations.
Hey man, I went through her photos. I didn't really see too many people of color.
Her sister.
For her to have a black father. I mean, hell, at this point, allegedly.
Now he was in the wedding picture. If you don't know, Malika Andrews got married this weekend to homeboy from ESPN.
She is so pretty.
She is so beautiful.
Yeah,
but she never beaten allegations.
No, I'm surprised she showed up at our wedding. I'm surprised she didn't have a fill-in.
Yo, to have no groomsmen or bridesmaids besides your sister that was black is crazy. And the guest pictures was nothing but, I was just like, yo, this is wild. But
yeah, I have a conspiracy theory about the Andrews family.
Oh,
Yeah, I do. I like her, you know, because for her granddad to be a civil rights attorney, and like for her dad and mom, I think he was a trainer and she was an artist, and she went to like a $40,000 a year private school. I have my suspicions. Like if you read the COINTELPRO like papers and see like how they targeted the civil rights era back in the day, I low key every all skin folk ain't kin folk.
Facts.
Put it like that. Facts.
I will tell everybody this. Netflix has a documentary called on the Untold series. It's about Steve McNair. This is the biggest waste of 60 minutes you can ever give in your life this week.
That's sad.
The doc. This is apparently, I found out later, there's a bunch of Steve McNair docs. First of all,
did they do a 30 for 30 on Steve McNair? That might be good.
That might be good. There has to be. Anything is better than this.
Yeah.
This doc is, I think, is 55 minutes, and they tell you nothing. Steve McNair, they didn't talk to his wife, who he was still married to when he died. The person they spoke to the longest, besides Jeff Fisher, who did an amazing job, they spoke to the girlfriend's boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, who was left. Shorty used to work at Dave & Buster's. She had a boyfriend, and she left him to be with Steve McNair. That boy had no chance.
Yeah, he had no chance at all.
Your girl was gone. But it was like, they talked to him no longer, and it was just like, it was so sped through. I was like,
Netflix
damn.
did a poor job on their sports docs, if we just being fully honest. And with that being said, Steve McNair is there's players that I think sometimes they're just like a decade too early. Mm-hmm. Steve McNair is one of them. The dude name was Steve Air McNair.
Absolutely.
When he was at Alcorn State. I mean, he was throwing for like 400 yards and running for like 100. And this is in an era when nobody was throwing the ball like that. Like it was literally just like Alcorn State and Texas Tech, I think, was the only two people that was really just air raiding it out. And if he played in this era, man, like I would love to see him in this era right now. Another person that I always look at and say, like, yo, there was a generation too early. Jonathan Bender. Y'all might even remember who he was, but he was like a 7-foot shooter, right? He was like, and they wanted him to play in the paint, and he was like, I'm a guard. And it was like, he played for Indiana, and they were just like, you are not a guard. You're 7 feet. You're going in the paint. And, he did get paid, but it's like, if he would have came in like after 2011 and 12.
After Dirk.
Yeah, it's like I think he would have been probably one of the greatest shooters that we've ever seen. And it was like, no, they wanted him to play center, and he was just like, bruh, I am a guard. They're like, no, you 7 foot, you going in the paint.
Yeah, I love you're a generation too late, like Brooke Lopez.
Yeah,
he had to learn how to shoot so he can keep a job.
Yeah. It's always it's always one of those things where it's like, man, like what could have been, what has been. But anyway, we ain't gonna bore y'all at the end of the pod. Thanks for sticking around. If you did stick around,
they stuck around. We did all this for the ladies. Ladies, what you got playing this weekend?
I got a kiddo this weekend, so
there you go.
Yeah, just first week of school, man. So we'll be chilling, man. Maybe get a last 2 pool days in before it just gets too chilly to go to the pool. So.
I love that pump fake of fall that they gave us like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and then it was like back to 90s.
So yeah, I'll probably grill out. I'll probably put some chicken on the grill, go to the pool.
There you go.
I don't know. Finish planning my trip down to somewhere
that's warm. Yo, FAMU, I'll be on campus.